Hey everybody. Over the last 8 days, I read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. That's Brandon Sanderson's newest book. It came out on July 1st, the third of the Secret Projects. Fantastic book. 8 days for a book like that, by my standards, is pretty fast. I would normally take at least twice as long to finish a book like that, if not like 4 times as long, but the book was so good, I couldn't put it down. I don't think I've done my rant about fiction on YouTube yet, but I have a rant. And it goes something like this. Humans need fiction. We need stories. Religion, among other things, is a story. And I think that there's something deeply human about desiring some kind of religion, some kind of story. Think about the story of the New Testament. God becomes one of us and dies a brutal death because he loves us. I mean, that's a fantastic story. That story was the first of its kind, right? Think about all of the Jesus stories that have occurred since Jesus, right? And I'm not just talking about Narnia, which is very blatant, but Harry Potter is a Jesus story, right? Harry dies so that he could save. Now, obviously, he doesn't die. And hey, if I spoiled that for you, those books are pretty old now, so, get over it. But there are so many stories inspired by religion. Religion is the original story in some ways. And Yumi and the Nightmare Painter is a self-aware story. Now, part of that is due to the fact that most of Brandon Sanderson's books are not told like by a narrator, but the 4 books as part of the Secret Projects are told by somebody who's part of the story. The character's name is Hoyd, and so Hoyd is narrating these 4 books. Well, I guess he's narrating 3 of the books, but that's besides the point. Hoyd narrates Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Hoyd is a storyteller. And I would like to read to you from page 420 of Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. That is just kind of a funny coincidence that it's 420. But as soon as I read this page yesterday, I knew I had to incorporate this into a little video. So I'm just going to read to you from page 420 into page 421 from Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. You might be thinking at this point of the old adage that says having heroes is not worth it. There are variations on it all around the Cosmere, cynical takes that encourage you to never look up to someone, lest by turning your eyes towards the sky, you leave your gut open for a nice stabbing. I disagree. Hope is a grand thing, and having heroes is essential to human aspiration. That is part of why I tell these stories. That said, you do need to learn to separate the story and what it has done to you from the individual who prompted it. Art, and all stories are art, even the ones about real people, is about what it does to you. The true hero is the one in your mind, the representation of an ideal that makes you a better person. The individual who inspired it, well, they're like the book on the table or the art on the wall, a vessel, a syringe full of transformational aspiration. Don't force people to live up to your dreams of who they might be. And if you're ever in the situation in which Painter found himself, Painter is one of the main characters, where your ideals are crumbling, don't do what he did. Don't make it slow. Walk away and patch the wound instead of giving the knife time to twist inside. When I read that, I had to pause for a second. That explains how I felt about religion. It was this fantastic story, one of the best stories. The best story at the time that it was told. But I found the story to be just that. A story, a vessel, a syringe full of transformational aspiration. The fact the truthfulness, the historicity of the story is secondary. And I think that Brandon Sanderson knows this. And I think that's why Brandon Sanderson tells stories. Now, Brandon Sanderson himself is a devout Mormon. Like, devout as far as I can tell. So I don't know if Brandon Sanderson meant for me to take what I took from this book, but I did. And I took so much other stuff from this book too. And I just wanted to share it with you. Walk away and patch up the wound instead of giving the knife time to twist inside. Thanks, everybody.